أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حق حمده والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأفوض اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع وعمل لا يرفع ونفس لا تشبع رب زدني علما وفهما وألحقنا بالصالحين رب يسر ولا تعسر رب تمم بالخير لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and very respected sisters and all the brothers and sisters over the net, Jazakumullahu khairul jaza for joining us this evening at this beautiful masjid in this beautiful cold Melbourne weather. The place is freezing. Inshallah air conditioning will be working probably next week and we will have heated, nice, warm place tomorrow. So inshallah I was also asked to cut today short a little bit, talk a bit shorter today for about an hour because we haven't got much disk space left, and as well as this place is very cold, we don't want people to get sick. So inshallah, also we started a bit late, we apologize because both of our technical staff, plan A and plan B, all fell ill today. So plan C, contingency plan, alhamdulillah, managed it. We have done it. We're back on air again, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, put barakah into our learning today, inshallah. We went through the second fard of the 54 Faraid last week. We're going through the 54 Faraid of Imam Hasan al-Banna, Qaddasallahu sirrahu al-Aziz. And the second fard last week that we discussed thoroughly, I think we have not left anything out, was the second fard upon every single Muslim was to wear only halal clothing. Only halal clothes. And we have defined what clothing meant a Muslim should wear and the harams of it and halals of it. We looked at it inshallah and we touched upon many issues that is relevant to our lives today that a Muslim should understand and learn. And inshallah today we intend to go through the third fard according to our list of 54 faraid that you should all have a copy of it, is to make wudu when it is required. To make wudu when it is required. It is a topic that majority of us, alhamdulillah, know many things about. So inshallah I will not be going through in detail of the fiqhi masail of wudu, but I will touch upon certain issues and concentrate on the actual concept of the fada'il of wudu. I want to encourage to, inshallah, for us to be in a state of wudu at all times. Firstly, wudu is an act that must be performed. And it is fard to perform when you want to do an act of worship which requires wudu to do. It becomes fard for a person to perform wudu when the following act that is requires as a prerequisite wudu. For example, you can't do your salat without wudu. It is absolutely haram. If you do salat without wudu deliberately, according to the four schools of thought, that person becomes a kafir. Very dangerous. Recently, I was speaking to one of the teachers of one of the Islamic schools. He says, one of the things that I did was a survey when I came into the school. He says, I was shocked and dismayed and astonished. The survey results, they didn't have to write their names. 85% of the youth at the school were doing their salat without wudu. Deliberately, knowingly. And actually, perhaps out of ignorance. They did not know. And they were doing their wudu, they were doing their salat without wudu. If a person deliberately prays without wudu, that person is a munafiq, is a person who just left Islam. Because he has turned the status of haram, prayer without wudu is haram, into prayer without wudu is halal. Nobody has the right to change a status of haram into halal or halal into haram. Deliberately. When you do this, you become a non-Muslim, a kafir. Just letting you know, straight to your face, straight to it, because we need to know this. Sometimes when we are lazy in the morning, when our parents wake us up for Fajr, and we think that they're not watching, you go to the bathroom and let the water run a little bit, water, and pretend that you made wudu, and in front of them just go up and down for what you call 10, 15 seconds, pretending to pray. You're playing with fire. You can never joke with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is better for you to say, I am lazy and I can't pray, than try to play games with a ruling of Sharia. This is very dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. So, wudu is an act, a fard act, must be performed when there is an act, another ibadah, which requires it as a prerequisite. An act. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 7, actually verse 6, depending on which Qur'an you look at, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the following, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. صدق الله العظيم. O you who believe, Muslims, Allah was not asking the non-Muslims. Non-Muslims don't have to make any wudu. This is for the Muslims. O you who believe, when you rise up to do your salat, any salat that is, wash your faces and your hands as far as the elbows, and wipe your heads, make masah on your heads, and wash your feet to the ankles. 4 fard components of wudu is clearly spelled out in this particular ayah of the Qur'an. There is no way out. Brother, I like washing every part of my wudu except my feet. I made the wudu this morning and I put my beautiful clean socks made out of cotton. Is it permissible for me to just wipe over the socks? We'll come back to it in a minute. We'll come back to it in a minute. Many of the discussions on adab, the sunan, the wajibat and the faraid of wudu is thoroughly discussed and explained in our fiqh books. You should get a hold on to one of those books, whatever madhab, whatever school of thought that you're following, whether you're Hanafi, Shafi'i, Maliki or Hanbali, one of the 4 schools that you follow, and inshallah just stick to one of them and you do your wudu properly. No mixing and matching. According to ulama, talfiq, taking some from here, taking from some from there, and combining into one particular action of ibadah is not permissible. I'll do my washing according to of my face according to Shafi'i, wash feet according to my Maliki, and arms according to Hanbali, and the head according to the what they call Hanafis. This is not acceptable. You have to stick to one particular set of rules in a particular package of ibadah. There is no mixing. So the Faraid of Wudhu differs a little bit from school of thought to school of thought. According to the Hanafis, there are only 4 components which are fard, which is just explained in the ayah of the Qur'an, where you must wash your face once from where the hair starts, if you have hair, that is. If you're not, just your forehead, and just your face once, just once is fard. Secondly, to wash your right and left arm once, including the elbows, once with running water, so to speak, is fard. Second. Third is to make a quarter of your head, masih, is also fard. Once, wiping only once. And to wash both feet, including ankles, is also fard. This is the Hanafi school. Every other ones that you do 3 times, starting from the right, and there are sunnats and there are some adabs. Yes, no problem. According to Shafi'i school of thought, there are actually 6 fard components. First is to make intention. Intention in Shafi'i, Imam Shafi'i, according to Imam Shafi'i, it's fard to do so. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. This is their foundational hadith as their dalil. Nothing, no ibadah is accepted unless it is accompanied by a proper intention. And the other 4 that we just mentioned, that is your face and your arms and wiping of the head. Their wiping is actually also, definition is different. The ba, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, the ba in front of رُؤُوسِكُمْ denotes that it could be any part. It could be just as a little bit, just a little touching. That's why some people just touch on the head, just the root here. Khalas. That's required. I mean, that fulfills the requirement. Okay, according to Shafi'i school of thought. And of course the feet, that makes it 5. 6 is you must follow the order. You must follow the order, tartib. One after another. You can't just do feet and then the head, then the left arm and the right arm, then go back. No, it must be in an order. And the next one, which makes it 7, is to do things in succession without a break in between. So you can't just wash your face and go and watch television for 5 minutes and come back. Got the what do you call the important bits in the stock market, and come back and wash the other arm. It must be done in quick succession without having a gap in between. This is Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i's what you call school, we all accept, because I had to explain this because quite a large percentage of our Jama'ah also followers of Imam Shafi'i, rahimahullah. Therefore, we also respect whatever you're following, you must know the basics. So I'm not going to go into the details of everything else, but there are certain pertinent points that I want to bring into your attention, which many of the people today, when they're learning about wudu from the books, they do not learn properly. And once you make a bad habit of not practicing wudu properly, it is stuck onto you as a habit until the day you die. And no wonder sometimes you don't get any feeling in your salat because your wudu is incomplete, not properly done. The first one is istinja. The second one is called istibra. 2 words, technical terms. Istinja is the actual Muslim habit, compulsory habit of washing oneself after we relieve ourselves in the toilet. We must cleanse ourselves absolutely well until our heart is content that the area concerned is thoroughly cleansed. We live in a day and age, in a country where plenty of water available. Just wiping it with a paper does not make it clean. You need to wash it. But if you are in the mountain somewhere, stuck in the bush somewhere, then different rules apply. You can use stones, you can use something else, except for perhaps bones, except for some other materials that the Sharia prohibits for valid reasons. Okay? But you must make istinja. In every Muslim house, there must be a tahara bottle. I get the shock of my life when I go to some practicing Muslim house, and then yet there is not a single thing to wash themselves with when you go to the bathroom. You need to have a tahara bottle, and you need to wash yourself after your toilet, number one or number two. And you must wash yourself with left hand, not right hand. Islam is such a beautiful religion, a complete religion. It caters for every single need, and it covers every single aspect of human life. Going to toilet is part of the religion, yes. And cleansing yourself after toilet is also part of the religion, yes. Because our deen is deen of cleanliness. At-tuhuru shatrul iman, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. Cleanliness is part of the religion, half of the religion. An-nadhafatu min al-iman. Cleanliness, hygiene is half of the religion, part of the religion. Okay, we made our istinja properly, and we washed and dried ourselves with the relevant toilet paper and what have you. Now what do we do? Rush to the bathroom and make wudu quickly? No. The adab is to practice, perform what is called istibra. Inna Allah la yastahi min al-haq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never shies away from telling the truth. There is no taboo subject in Islam. You can discuss everything within manners and within adab. There is not a single subject that concerns human life where you shy away. You discuss it within adab. Somebody came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a lady. In one case she asked, Ya Rasulullah, the thing that happens to men, does it also happen to women? And in that case, are they allowed to, or are they supposed to make ghusl? Aisha radiallahu anha is sitting next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She defined, if a woman has also a wet dream, does she have to make ghusl? Aisha radiallahu anha went pink, blue, red in the face. He says, you really put shame on women. What kind of a question is that? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam turned to her and said, Ya Aisha, Allah is never and ever shy from telling the truth, speaking the truth, haqq. Allah does not shy away from telling the truth. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered the lady according to her fiqh. Yes, if there is wetness in her panty, then definitely she needs to make ghusl. Explains. Another woman come and ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, he says, my bleeding doesn't stop. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says the same thing, and he says, there must be one of your jidar, one of the walls has maybe a vein that is not working properly. Therefore you have a sickness, you have a condition, you have an excuse. These are the following rules for those people of uzr, of excuse. Therefore follow the following. So there is not a single subject you cannot discuss in Islam. Anything and everything within manners, within adab, within etiquette. So toilet, brother, that's very private. There's no such thing as private when it comes to Islam. You're not private. Everything is discussed within adab. Adab is the key word. So once we come out of the toilet, we did everything right, cleansed everything, can we rush to making wudu? No. You need to make istibra. Istibra is, according to our ulama, they define istibra as the act of waiting and performing certain acts that will ease your body so that last drops of urine that remain in the pipes, they are released because your body is relaxed. Everybody's piping system is different. Some people have continuous running. Some people don't have any problem as such. So what do you have to do? Walk for 40 steps. Sit up and down, try to pretend to cough so that your body releases the last bits. So what do you do, brother? It'll be dropping onto my pants. Yep, Andy, be careful. Therefore, get a large or small toilet paper. Just put in the affected area and wait. Walk a little bit. Do not rush into making wudu first. So you wait a little bit. Okay, after a minute, 2 minutes, depending who you are, walk for a while, your body relaxes, and come back and check it. Walk back into the bathroom and make sure that there is not a single drop. But there is no water, there is no paper, brother, what do I do? With your finger, left hand, touch. Make sure that if there is wetness, make sure that you don't touch your hand to anything else afterwards until you wash it properly. Your hand properly. Then if there is nothing, okay, you go and wash your hands and make wudu. But if there is still coming, water still coming through, urine is still coming through, that means you have to go back to the toilet and really wash again, because your tahara is not complete. Istibra. Very important. As you grow older, it becomes a problem. As a young man, you think that your pipes are all perfect. Don't worry about it for the time being. Yes, as you grow older, it becomes a problem. But nonetheless, this particular knowledge is a knowledge that you must have. Otherwise, you rushed into making wudu. Oh, alhamdulillah, and caught the jama'ah. And all of a sudden you feel some wetness onto your pants. Andy, then you realize that actually it smells like urine too. I dried everything up. How come that wetness, where's that coming from? That's urine. In other words, you prayed without wudu. Your wudu is not there because it was leaking. Therefore, you need to make your istibra properly. Very important. Also, when we walk into the bathroom, adab. You need to read your proper du'as. Enter into the bathroom with your left foot. What do we have to say? It's written on every Muslim house near the toilet door. Beautiful handwriting, calligraphy, but nobody reads it. Only the first day they read, and after that your eyes get used to it, you ignore it, you don't even see it. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the male and female devils, the jinn kind. They see us, we don't see them. One of the most laughing moments, the happiest, the funniest moment for jinn kind and the shaitan kind is when you expose your private parts to them. When you take your pants off, they start laughing. They say, look, they keep on laughing. But the moment you say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, when you read this dua, their eyes are completely veiled. They can't see you. They can't look at you. So you don't give that chance to them. That's their favorite hangout place. Especially jinn children. So we need to recite the dua. This is our belief. If you don't believe in it, that's your story. You go and cry to yourself. But we believe in this. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam teaches us. We walk into the toilet with our left foot with the dua, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith. Very simple. And we sit. No hosing, no standing. Sit. And lean towards the left. This is adab, sunnah. Did you know? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even teaches us how to sit in the toilet. We do everything nicely. Let it go. Relax. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Such a great ni'mah. Once all the toxic wastage is unloaded, completely gone away from us, our body, alhamdulillah, regains its health. So once you do istinja and cleanse yourself, you come out with the right foot and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. غفرانك الحمد لله الذي أذهب عني الأذى وعافاني. Oh Allah, thank you, please forgive me for my shortcomings, and I thank you for taking this toxic waste out of me and reinstating my health back to me, Ya Rabbi. Thank you, O Allah. It's an act of worship. Ibadah. Ibadah. When you want to make wudu, after you do your istibra, istinja properly, you must sit at a high place where the water doesn't splash onto you. You put your sleeves up until that section. This is for men, not for women. In public, if you're in public. If you're in private, you can do anything you want. With a woman, can do anything they want. But the whole brother Mahmud told us, Ustadh Mahmud told us to make wudu. So I go to McDonald's, I put everything up because I want to pray my salat in the public place. What are you doing, sister? Awra is awra. Your arms are awra. Just cover up. You cannot do this. Your wudu has to be in private also. This is part of adab. Oh, I took all the hijab off, everything else, I'm going to make wudu. Everyone's watching you. Ya Latif. You can't do that. You need to be careful. So for men, when I start talking about men, in special cases I'll mention the women. So you put your sleeves up and you will make wudu, inshallah ta'ala. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Start. And you make intention, sunnah in Hanafi and fard in Shafi'i. And you must make your intention before you wash your face, according to Shafi. After you wash your face and you realize that you haven't made the intention, that wudu is no wudu, you have to restart again. There's a Shafi'i again. So, if you have miswak, you must use your miswak, sunnah to do so. One of the sunnahs that we have completely abandoned. Brush your teeth. If you haven't got a brush, if you don't have a brush or miswak, use your thumb and index finger to at least rub your gums and your teeth. Try to clean. There's a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And make your wudu properly. When it comes to washing your feet, you make sure that you wash it properly. Making khilal between the toes. Making sure that your heels are washed properly. Not just putting under the running water, finished, that's not washing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned the person, says that's not the way to wash. Wash properly. Wash properly. You need to wash. In this regard, inshallah, I want to just mention briefly about a practice that the Muslim youth in particular are practicing so religiously, so enthusiastically, not anything else except this one. That is to wiping over the normal socks when it comes to making wudu. According to our ulama, 4 schools. I don't care for the rest of it. Whatever they do, they do. That's not my concern. We are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. We are mainstream Islam. What some deviant cults practice, it's not my concern. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given permission to us to make masah ala al-khuffayn, masah ala al-shabrawayn. Two words used in the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sahih. But people of today, when they translate this particular khuffayn word, they translate as socks. It is definitely not socks of today. Definitely not the socks of today. What do you say, brother? What's your proof? Here's your proof. Listen. According to our fiqh ulama, fuqaha, it is permissible to make masah, wiping, on only following khuffayn or socks which fulfill the functions. It must have 4 conditions. If anything that you wear on your foot, your feet, fulfills 4 requirements, then you can make khuffayn, you can make masah over it. And I want you, after listening this, compare the socks that you're wearing. Compare it with the socks that you're wearing. What is it? First condition, durability. The socks must be strong enough to enable walking in them on roads for at least 3 Shari'i miles without the socks breaking or tearing. You walk in the rough surface for 3 miles. Let's see what happens to your socks. Are they still strong? Or already opened up? First condition, durability. Second, the socks, if not tied on the foreleg, must not slip down. Socks kept in position by elastic sewn into the socks material will be regarded as being tied. In other words, it must stand on its own. It should not just fall. Like the normal socks, when you wear socks, it just comes down. But I've got something that holds at the back, that's elastic band on top. This is the top section, is regarded as tying. If it wasn't there, the whole socks will fall. It will not stand, fall. Third, it must be waterproof. Water must not be able to seep through. Number 4, the socks must not be transparent or even semi-transparent. 4 conditions. What is it? First, durability. Second, it must be standing. Thirdly, must be waterproof. Fourthly, what is it? Not transparent. According to 4 schools, this is the condition for khuffayn. For a person to translate the word khuffayn as your cotton socks is a murder. It is the biggest trick of our age by people who say la madhab, la madhab, la madhab. The people who literally translate the hadith of Prophet ﷺ take the fiqh into their hands, make fatwa according to their thinking. Man ifta an-nas bighayri ilmin, Rasulullah ﷺ says, he who gives fatwa without sound knowledge, Islamic knowledge, may the curse of all the malaika fi samawat wal ard be upon that person. He who speaks about Qur'an without knowledge, man qala bil Qur'ani, without knowledge, he who speaks about Qur'an, interprets the ayat of Qur'an without knowledge, فَلْيَتَبَوَّأْ مَقْعَدَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ, let him prepare his final destination in Jahannam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, brother, show me a hadith and I'll believe. Even if I showed you 1 hadith, even million hadith, because your head is rock, you will not understand. Because you've taken the law into your own hands. You have got no Arabic, you've got no ilm of any kind, and yet you give fatwa right, left and the center to anybody. Some of our ulama say, even, I've heard with my own ears from the mashayikh, if in your past, mashallah, you made tawbah, and you came and joined a particular path, and you started doing salat, but you said to me that you've been doing salat for the last 10 years, mashallah, go back and check your wudu. If your wudu was done on the basis of just wiping over the socks, the normal socks, he says you need to make qada of those 10 years of salat. Not a joke. This is Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This is Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. If you want to read extensively on this particular topic, I would refer you to Professor Dr. Wahb al-Zuhaili's book on fiqh, encyclopedic, 7-8 volumes. Have a look. He discusses all the daleels according to 4 schools and explains this point so clearly. There is no way out. Stop following the madhab of your nafs. Stop following the madhab of your shaitan. Follow Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This is not a joking matter. For you to discount one of the fard components of wudu, Allah says in the Qur'an, wash your feet. Yes, despite the fact that concession is given for us to make khuffain, to masah al-khuffain, if you do not practice it properly, your wudu is incomplete, therefore you cannot do your salat. Your salat is incomplete, because salat is not accepted, because there is no prerequisite, which is the fard component. Before salat is wudu. Tahara min al-hadath. That is not accepted. If you have an issue with this topic, come and see me after. I don't want to dwell on this further, but I have done my duty. If I see any of you not washing their feet, you'll be in trouble. If you have khufs, like the one I'm wearing at the moment, what many people are wearing, it's available in the library, in the bookshop, buy one. Both ladies and men, very convenient, mashallah. Soft, gentle, beautiful, leather, fulfills all the 4 conditions. Make khuffayn, masah, no problem, permissible, jaiz, good. It's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this cold weather. But for you to take the law into your own hands and try to interpret from what you hear from other people without daleel, without written proof from the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah ulama fuqaha, you are playing the game of following my own school of thought. Not school of thought, your madhab of your nafs. Hafidhan Allah wa iyyakum. One of the other words for wudu in Arabic is tuhur, tahara. There are quite a few ahadith of Prophet ﷺ, also ayat from the Qur'an al-Kareem. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, فيه رجال يحبون أن يطهروا والله يحب المطهرين. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to the people of Masjid Quba. In it, there are some people who like being pure, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who like to purify themselves, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes the pure. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not understand this ayah. What does that mean? And he came and asked the people of Quba. He says, what is it that's so special about you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to you as people of cleanliness? What do you clean more than us? Then they said, Ya Rasulullah, it is a habit, a custom, tradition for generations. each time we go to bathroom, after we do our number 1 or number 2, we always use water to cleanse ourselves. To cleanse ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who purify themselves. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Buniya deenu ala nadhafa. This deen of ours is established firmly on cleanliness. Foundation is cleanliness. وقال عليه السلام مفتاح الصلاة طهور. الطهور. Wudhu is the opener of salat. Without this tahara, without this wudu, there is no salat. Don't even try it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Ma'idah says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. صدق الله العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under no circumstances wishes you any hardship, difficulty. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to complete His favors upon you. So He wants you to be pure. He wants to purify you. Because He wants to complete His ni'mah on you. Onto you. In a different hadith we said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, At-tuhuru shatrul iman. Cleanliness is half of the religion. النظافة من الإيمان. Now, it is not very intelligent for a smart person, a rational being like human beings like us, to confine this concept of cleanliness to our physical cleanliness only. By deduction, we can really understand and deduce that this cleanliness applies to both inner and outer, zahir and batin. Our physical cleanliness is very important, but the spiritual cleanliness of our heart is perhaps the most important thing. Why is that so? Equally important, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly scans our hearts. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَا صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your outer forms, whether you're fat, skinny, ugly, tall, short, black, green, purple, pink. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at you whether young or old. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly scans the condition of your heart. One of the companions, he says, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, the first bid'ah, first innovation to appear in this ummah was the discovery of a particular plant, where we made sabun out of it, cleansing agent, so that people became obsessed with their physical hygiene. They used to wash themselves, their clothing so much that they will not allow any single tiny minor drop of any dirt, even dust, to come on it. They'll make sure they're absolutely obsessed with this. And yet he says, during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we were clean, tahir, because we can't do without salat, without tahara. Correct? He says, and yet we were so worried about our inner cleanliness, the cleanliness of our heart, whether our heart contained any of the diseases of nafsul ammara, whether there was any greed, any envy, any jealousy, any hubbud dunya, any ghiba, any namima, any of the diseases of the bukhul, stinginess. Whether we had any of those diseases in our heart, we used to watch over so much, take care of our heart so much in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People have forgotten about that particular cleansing process of the inner, and they concentrate on the outer. Concentrate on the outer. So, cleanliness is divided into two types. Tahara is divided into two types. One is the outer cleanliness, with which our fiqh deals with, explains in Kitab al-Tahara, in the book of cleanliness, in every fiqh book. You open up, it will tell you exactly how to cleanse your outer. But they never and never tell you about your cleanliness of your inner. Cleanliness of your inner, tazkiyatun nafus or tazkiyatul qalb, is the domain of another faculty of the Sharia, another section of the Sharia which deals with this, and that is called tasawwuf. That's a different field altogether, to do with ilmul ihsan, to do with ilmul tazkiyah. Fiqh does not come close to this one. So our outer cleanliness has three components. One is cleansing oneself when it's needed to do salat. In other words, from any form of hadith, asghar or akbar. If you need wudu, you need to make wudu. Wash, spiritual cleansing, ritual cleanliness. Or if you need to make ghusl, you need to make ghusl. Fard upon you, not a problem. Cleanliness from the physical filth. Physical filth has three different components. One is wudu and ghusl that we just mentioned, or tayammum when it's required. Secondly, physical filth that you must cleanse yourself with. On your body, these following things should not have any traces of it within you. If it has on you, your salat is not accepted, unless there is no other way that you are an excused person. I will explain. If you have any form of urine, any form of feces, or any form of pus or blood on your body, on your clothing, any form of intoxicant, wine or spirits, beer, alcohol, on your clothing, on your body, on your clothing, you cannot pray with this. This is najis. Absolutely. Anything on your body of something that is li'aynihi haram, like a pig product. You're wearing a jacket made out of suede, pig suede. You cannot pray with this. It's najis. If you're wearing shoes with pig lining, you can't pray with it. You can't wear it. It's haram to do so. Today after Jummah we came out. This is the second case. Subhanallah. I'm developing very bad habits. I'm looking at people's jackets. One brother, very nice brother, mashallah, a lovely person. He comes to the masjid for many years. As soon as I saw it, I recognized the pattern. I said, brother, could I have a look at your jacket? He says, yes, of course. You want to give it to me as a gift? No. I just want to see. I looked at the label. He says 100% pig suede. Ya Latif, he says, I've been wearing this for many years. My father-in-law gave me as a gift 6 years ago from Pakistan, from a Muslim land. I said, it's not from a Muslim land, it's made in China. So Muslim land, unfortunately. To wear anything of pig is absolutely haram. You cannot touch it. لِعَيْنِهِ كُلٌّ, everything. Can we use it as a sole under the feet, under our shoes? No, you cannot. You can use a donkey or a horse, but not a pig. When you're buying shoes, you need to be careful. You need to be extremely careful, because there is not a shoe manufacturer in Australia or that comes from overseas who does not use linings within your shoes, even if you open up now. How do you tell, brother? Brother Muhammad Gul, an expert on leather. You can ask him the pattern. Even if you ring the manufacturer, they will tell you. One particular sister, probably she's sitting amongst us, she says, when I heard this, I went and checked all of my shoes and leather, what they call bags, and the belts, as well as the wallets. He says, subhanallah, they're all containing Leather. I got rid of maybe 300 different items. I got rid of all the shoes of my husband. When he came home, he says, what happened to my shoes? The expensive ballet shoes. Sorry, they're all containing leather made out of pigskin. So we went on a hunting. We called every single manufacturer. And they tell you, says, yeah, we use it. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? Of course, to them it's nothing. To us, it means everything. They use it. Why are they using it? Because there's plenty of it. Majority of the shoes of manufacturing is done in China. Plenty of it. And it is very easy to use in the manufacturing process because it's very soft. It's like human skin almost. It is so easier to use in the linings. In the outer they cannot because it's not hard. It'll rip. But inside, people use it. It's soft. So you need to be careful. So if your clothing has any form of pig element in it, your salat, your wudu is not wudu because you have najis on you. You have not fulfilled the first condition of cleanliness. Or you have any dead animal on you, our book says, or hide that is not treated yet. Remember, we said a couple of weeks back, hide is halal of any animal except for pig, and according to some of the ulama, elephant. Elephant.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with the term hide. I also want to know, mink, fur coat, that sort of stuff.
Mink, fur?
Fur coats.
Fur coats. Let me explain. Untreated, I said. When you slaughter an animal, skin the animal, and you've got the dirty, filthy skin. This needs to go through a process of washing, salting, and some of the chemicals upon chemicals, stays under the sun for so many days and so many. It goes through certain the tannery is the old term for it, where people used to take all this to those places, turns into a proper leather, where you make jackets out of it. Leather jackets. Otherwise, if it's in the other previous condition, the original condition that it came out of the animal, that is najis. You can't use it. Oh, let me put it halal, brother. No, it's not halal. It needs to go through that tannery process that needs to be treated. Is that clear? All the other animals like fur, mink, furs, these are all halal. There is not a single thing in Islam. The ruling in Islam is this: everything in essence is halal, mubah, unless and otherwise it is stated as haram in Islam, Sharia. If Sharia does not say about a particular thing, is this halal or haram? I'm holding in my hand. Anything in Sharia says haram? No, therefore it's halal. How about this one? In Sharia, is halal or haram? Is there anything in Sharia which says haram this? No, therefore it's halal. Mubah, permissible. Okay? Rasulullah also talks about the leather being treated. Okay? Leather being treated. Our fiqh teaches us in clear terms, unless a leather is treated, goes through that tannery process, it is not clean, it is najis. Once it goes through, except for pig leather, because pig leather is li'aynihi, because of its own, on its own right, it is haram and najis. But untreated leather, a hide, is lighayrihi haram because of its najis. Because of its najis, it's haram to use. Once the najis is removed from it, it becomes clean. You can use it. But no matter how much you treat the pig leather, suede, it never and ever and ever and ever becomes halal unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes the ayah in the Qur'an Himself. Since that is an impossibility, so it remains as haram. So you need to be careful with your clothing. My concern is some people like certain apparel, certain items so much, and they love it. They look so nice on them, and they know that there is a pig element in it. They ignore it. This is the danger. This shows me that there is a defect in your iman. You have a problem. So I'm just warning you, and warning myself. And even the slaughtered animal without the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned on it, that you have it on you, touching halal meat does not break your wudu. Halal meat is halal meat. But touching a haram meat slaughtered in the name of other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're 100% sure, then that's a najis also. You can't pray with this. So you can't have a biltong, sujuk, in your pocket in the Allahu Akbar Salat, if you know that it's haram sujuk. Okay, how much of an explanation I can give you, I have no idea. Third type of physical najis, physical cleanliness that we have to do also, is an area that majority of the Muslims of today neglect. That is a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the removal of hairs from the underarms and the pubic area, private area, which is really commanded by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are rules and regulations to it. You must follow it, inshallah. This is a form of physical cleanliness that you must do. Second type of najis, and the third and the fourth, these are to do with our limbs and our heart and our sir. Our mouth, our hands, our feet, our ears, our stomachs, and all of our other limbs must be protected from the filth of sinning. To protect our limbs of our body, organs from the maharimillah is also compulsory for us. It is form of tahara, of the inner. If they have become filthy with sin, then you must use an agent to clean it. That is called tawbah. If you're physically filthy, you use Ajax and Jif and some other Morning Fresh or some other the agents that you use, detergent that you use, sabun, soap, no problem. You use it for your physical cleanliness. But other cleanliness that you commit, the hygiene that is required, that of the unseen type, you need to cleanse it through the process of tawbah. Without tawbah, those things do not become clean. With istighfar and tawbah and paying the necessary kafarat, you must cleanse those things. Third type of cleanliness is the cleanliness of the heart, which is also fard to do so. From any form of kufr, any form of shirk, any form of false belief, and all the forms of akhlaq al-razila, bad attributes that a human nafs possesses. If these are present, you have to find a doctor, you have to find a sheikh, you have to find a spiritual master to teach you. You can never on your own achieve full cleanliness in this area, especially of your heart. Tawbah and istighfar, yes, for small ones. Dhikrullah, yes. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, when a person commits a sin, trespasses the boundaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, transgresses one of his laws, he sins deliberately, a deliberate act of defiance against the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then a dot, a stain is put in the heart of a Muslim. If he does not make tawbah, that remains there. A stain is remained there. If you have a big blotch of curry blob on your galbiyya, white galbiyya, if you don't take it to dry cleaners or your laundry mat there, all have a nice house. If you continue having more curry and you can't control your eating, one another, before you're not cooking and finishing your white galabiya from the cut of your head. Heart's exactly the same. Heart is nothing but a mirror, clean mirror, that shows the Asma'ullah al-Husna. The tajalliyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only can be perceived through a heart. And if a heart is constantly stained with the sins, deliberate act of disobedience to Allah, it becomes dark. Spot, dark, dark, dark. The mirror becomes completely dark. And after that, na'udhu billah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says it's sealed. Our duty is to keep that heart constantly clean. Polish the heart constantly. We went through in our second fard, first fard, when we first mentioned about to be constant in the remembrance of Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Kulli shay'in," everything have a thiqala. Everything has some agent of polishing. And the polish of the heart is dhikrullah, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brother, my heart is clean. How, sister? Look at you. How, brother? Look at you. My heart is clean. Better than a Muslim who prays 5 times a day. I don't pray, I don't fast, but my heart is clean. You use Ajax to wash your heart? Tell us, which detergent you used, so we can all wash our hearts. We don't have to worry about this mujahada, this jihad, bil nafs. We don't have to worry about it. You just tell us which company you use, we just put it in, shake it a little bit, jump up and down, get it out and done. Is that it? You mean Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's pure heart was dirtier than yours? That he had to pray 5 times a day and 5 on top of it? Tahajjud, duha and ishraq and awabin and everything else? That he used to fast every day, almost second day, every third day, every Mondays and the Thursdays and Ayyam Abid, the white days. That he used to give so much sadaqah, he used to do so much a'mal as-salihah. He used to abstain from harams of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because his heart was dirty and yours is cleaner than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What are you talking about? You're just fooling yourself, you're delusional, you're seeing things. You got rocks in your head. You're blind, you're deaf and mute. Come to your senses. Cleanliness of the heart is a different process. And the 4th martaba is cleansing the sir, your innermost heart. Your innermost heart, sir, from ma siwa'ullah, anything and everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything of other than Allah, ghayrullah, you keep it away from your innermost secret, innermost heart. This is a different area of discussion. This is a different field completely. This is the heart of the Anbiya, Siddiqeen. This is the heart of the greatest awliya. They are the ones who have achieved this. And it's also a duty for us to achieve such cleanliness. But under the circumstances, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. Anything that prevents you from achieving that full ma'rifah and full muhabba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is achieved within the sir, is called other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If your heart contains pure love for your children and nothing else, it occupies the place where Allah's love is supposed to occupy, that is called other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has to be cleansed. If your job, if your good looks, if your strength, if your maqam, if your status, if your job occupying that particular place, in other words, of course, squatters within the palace of the king. No king shall ever walk into a palace where the squatters are occupying the place. I was given the thumbs up. I think our time is finished. I'm going to stop here and perhaps continue with this topic next week, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairul jaza. The simple topic of having wudu is a very large topic. In Islam, there is not a single thing as simple topic. Simple topic. There is no simple topic. We need to understand. Inshallah ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to purify our outer as well as our inner, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always allow us to keep away from any form of najasa, any form of purity, whether they are physical or spiritual. And Allah ta'ala always of those lucky Muslims who are always in a state of wudhu. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, if a person dies in a state of wudhu, he dies as a shaheed. This is a great news from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah forgive our sins and give us the ability to make tawbatan nasuha before it's too late. Jazakumullahu khairul jazaa.